Hi guys, welcome back. This is video 3 in our series on, actually, is it video 3? Yeah, I think it's video 3 in our series on inviting and learning how to invite and who to invite. And that's what we're going to talk about today is who to invite. Now, some of these that I go through are going to be really obvious. Some of them are going to be maybe obvious to some people. And then I think there's going to be some that are just a little bit not so obvious and thinking outside the box, okay? So the first thing I want to say with inviting is don't wait until someone approaches you, okay? As your business grows and as you develop credibility in your social media and your business takes off and you're developing credibility within the people who follow you, you will start to have people approach you and come to you and say, hey, I saw what you're doing. What's this all about? I'm interested. Okay, but that is not going to happen right away. What happens right away is you have to get out there and you have to invite, okay? And that's really throughout your business, no matter how much credibility you build, you still always need to be going out on your own and inviting people because you're not going to get enough of those people who just come to you organically on their own. Okay, so that's number one is make sure you're always, it's like what I talked about in our last video, is developing that lifestyle of inviting so that it just becomes second nature and you're constantly looking out for people who identify themselves to you through the things they say, the things they do, you know, their activity on social media, and they identify themselves to you as coach prospects. And I'm also going to throw this out there that I believe that everyone could benefit in some way by being a Team Beachbody coach. Some people are super obvious, some are not so obvious. And so we're going to dive in here, and I hope that you kind of get an idea of how to create your own opportunities rather than waiting for people to come to you. So who do you want to invite? Anyone who could potentially benefit from coaching. Okay, and this is, again, a hint, it's everyone. Here's some obvious ones. Your health and fitness junkies. So you have friends on Facebook who are just like posting about their run every day, or they're posting about, you know, fitness motivation every day on their fitness page, or they're talking about going to the gym. Those are great prospects because they're people who already have a healthy lifestyle. They're already living the life that we live as coaches. So they're a great person to approach about coaching. The next one would be any fitness professionals that you know, such as personal trainers, group instructors, gym owners, chiropractors, sports therapists, right? So like your physical therapists and rehabilitation people, anyone who's involved in body competition. So if you know someone who is like in the I think it's WFP, but you know, bikini competition, that kind of thing, those are great people to invite. So those people I think are really obvious. Here's some that are not maybe so obvious. Beachbody customers. Okay, so these are people who you've had in your groups, you've talked to them, they've bought a program from you, they're buying Shakeology. Those are like perfect prospects because they're already into the Beachbody community and they're already getting results and they're enjoying what they're doing. Those are great people to watch out for. And when you're in your challenge groups, what I like to look for are people who are participating actively on social media. So they're in the group, they're posting, they're commenting about their workout, they're encouraging other people when they post, they're interacting on Facebook within the group. Those are great people to watch out for, especially they just bump themselves up to the top of my list when they're actually posting about their journey on their own on Facebook, on their personal Facebook page. Anybody who has participated in your free group, okay, and I know I've said this quite a few times, but every single person who goes through your free group can get invited to become a coach. There's no reason not to. They've seen what you do, they've participated in the group with you, and even, I mean, I wouldn't limit it just to people who participate. Invite every single person. You know, like we talked about in our previous video, this is actually doing them a favor, inviting them, right? We are like handing them the world on a platter. So you're not going to offend people if you do it right, and you're not going to drive them away. If they say no, it's really not a big deal. Like, really, what does it do for you, or what does it do to you if someone says no? Nothing. It does nothing to you. Keep that detached attitude about it and shrug off any no's. It's not a big deal. Okay, so all free group art participants should be invited. So these ones, this is where I want to talk about creating your own opportunities rather than waiting for people to come to you. And this was like a revelation I had not really that long ago, like probably within the last year and a half, where I realized that I was inviting people, like the obvious ones and the semi-obvious ones, but there was a whole group of people out there that I was not inviting because it hadn't really occurred to me. But if I see someone now post on Facebook about money issues, all right, maybe somebody posts that, you know, man, they really wish they could afford braces for their kid, or they lost their job, or you know, they're struggling financially in some way, I invite those people, and I've had them sign up as coaches. So I invite them because I feel like, again, I have this amazing opportunity where for a very tiny, minuscule investment on their part, money-wise, they can not only get health and fitness for themselves, but they can build an amazing business in a relatively short time and be bringing income in. So if someone's struggling financially and they're really hard up and every cent is, you know, like precious to them, if they can earn a couple $100 a month extra really fast, that's really going to help them. It's really going to help them. So anyone who's talking about financial issues, someone who talks about wanting to get fit and needing accountability, or maybe somebody who talks about struggling to stay fit, because we all know that when you become a coach, you become more accountable to your own fitness journey. So if you want to amp up the accountability for yourself, be a coach. That's what happens. Anyone who's encouraging and positive on Facebook. So if I see someone posting memes that are really encouraging and supportive and uplifting and motivating, those are perfect people. They're perfect people because they are showing by doing that they are, number one, positive minded, or they want to be, and number two, they want to help other people be positive minded as well. And that's a great quality to have as a coach. Someone who expresses a desire to make a difference in other people's lives. Again, you have to have that to be a coach. It's an amazing quality. People who talk about or indicate in their posts that they're just kind of searching for purpose. You know what I mean? Like maybe somebody who you can just tell by their post that they feel a little lost in their life and they don't really have like direction and focus. Those are great people to invite because, again, hello, huge favor, right? We have this amazing opportunity that provides purpose and passion and focus for us. So why would it not do that for someone else? Someone who's dissatisfied with their job. So maybe it's not even a money thing, but they just don't like what they do. Or maybe their boss is horrible, or maybe their work conditions suck. You know, maybe it's a super physical job and they're tired and their back hurts. You know, like those types of issues are great indicators to me that someone could potentially benefit from this as a coach. So as you can see from my list, and this is not an exhaustive list by any means. I'm sure as I've been talking and kind of going through my list that you've thought of things too, right? That you could look for when you're going through social media. And what I do with these people is I send them a message, and this is what I say. And I'll give you an example. I just did this 2 days ago to a girl I know. I met in an infertility support group on Facebook. So we're not like personal friends, but we became friends on Facebook, and we've talked a couple times, but we've never really we're not friends, okay? But I saw her post the other day about her infertility journey, and I've seen other posts that she's been doing IVF, and she just got rejected from an IVF trial because the doctor said she was too overweight. And she was disqualified from this IVF trial drug that she wanted to do, and she was really upset about it. And I know, because I've dealt with infertility, that it's a very emotional subject, okay? There's no way around that. It's very emotional subject. So what I did is I sent her a message a few days later, which was just like 2 days ago, and I said, hey, I saw your post on Facebook a couple days ago about your IVF trial treatments, and I hesitated even sending this message to you because I know this is a really emotional subject. I totally understand because I've been through infertility myself. So here I am relating to her, right? Hey, we're on the same boat, right? Me and you, we're on the same boat. We're on the same train. We're going the same way. I've dealt with infertility myself as well, and it sucks. It's so hard, and those treatments are really expensive. And I said, here's the thing. I've found a way to not only solve my weight issues, because I've had weight issues too, again, related to her. I struggled with my weight too. I've found the solution. It was like the one stone that killed both birds in my life, right? Which is my weight and financial extra money coming in. And that's through my business that I built as a coach. And I've just recently been able to retire from my full-time job as a court reporter to become a full-time coach because I've built this business up. Now, let me throw this in there for you guys, okay? Maybe you haven't retired from your full-time job, but guess what? I have. There is nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, I highly encourage you to tell people that. Hey, my upline coach just retired from her full-time job after building this business, and she's built it up to where she can now do this full-time, working 3 to 4 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day with a 2-hour commute. You know what I mean? Like, you can relate other people's stories that you've heard, especially stories from your own team, because it's really close. So I highly encourage you to do that. But I basically told her that, hey, I just retired and I'm now able to do this. It's freed me up to do so many things with my time, as well as have that extra finances coming in. I don't want to be like pushy or anything, but when I saw your post, I knew I had to reach out to you or I would regret it, and I don't like living with regret. Now let me ask you, if somebody sent you that message, would you be offended? Would you be mad or upset? Would you defriend them? Would you block them? Would you be angry in any way if you got a message like that? Doesn't it sound sincere and heartfelt? Because it is. It was sincere and it was very heartfelt, and I truly believe that what I said is true. This is a solution she could use to fix both of her problems she mentioned in her post. Okay, so that was just an example of how I talk to people. And the cool thing about that and the way you do that is I didn't need an intro into it. All I did was say, hey, I saw your post. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I just had to reach out to you. And here's why. I have this amazing opportunity. Then this is what it's done for me. This is what it's done for other people I know. And this is what it can do for you as well. Okay, and then always end every invitation or every message that way with a question. Okay, don't just leave it out there in the ether, because if you don't specifically ask for a response, the majority of times people will not specifically respond. Okay, so what I say at the end is this something, does this sound like something that could benefit you? Now, the reason why I say that, I don't ask, are you interested? Does this sound interesting to you? Sometimes I do. Most of the time I ask it that way, does this sound like something that could benefit you? Because the answer is yes, right? Even if they don't necessarily want to do it, it definitely sounds like something that could benefit them. So you'll get more conversation flow that way when you ask specific questions. And that really is information that I could go into a completely different video on, but it's really referring back to the video before this, lesson 2, when I talked about being a scientist of your own business, right? Like, when you are keeping track of your conversations and you're going through and you're seeing what worked and what didn't work, you'll come up with your own things like that. You know, going from, you know, are you interested? Would you like more information to, does this sound like something that would benefit you? It's still a simple question, but it has a completely different, calls for a completely different response. So, you know, just again, referring you back to video 2, like become a scientist of your business and watch the formula you put out there and see what happens and then make those fine adjustments. That's what this is all about. Okay, so again, your prep work for this week is to go through and create that list of 50 people. I hope that this helped give you kind of guideline and ways of thinking of more people. If you need additional ways in your back office, you can find a document. It's also in our team page if you search for it. And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, when you're in a Facebook group, you can search the Facebook group. Right on the right-hand side of the screen, underneath the cover photo, is a little text box with a little magnifying glass. That's a search section. So type in there memory jogger and then press enter, and the memory jogger will pop up in our files section. All right, so that is a tool that Beachbody's put together to help you think of people. And it's a very helpful tool, so I highly recommend that. And yeah, I will also link that into our video as well. All right, so let's get it done, guys. I'm super excited. Just keep up the good work. It's going to be fun, and we're going to learn a lot.